Hey.
Hey, everyone. This is Sienna.
And this is Toast.
Welcome to the podcast.
We're back. Oh, my God. This is our first podcast episode after 7 years. That must be a record of some kind.
7 years?
Over 7 years. Because I think our last previous episode was in like January or something of 2011.
January 2011. Yes, you are right.
Crazy.
But we're here. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the history of our podcasting days way back when. Also a little bit about where we've been and why we're back.
Just all the
a little
stuff.
catch up.
Yeah, just
a little catch up.
Just to catch you up because, you've been living life. We've been living life. And then here we are back on the podcast airwaves. And there you are listening.
Living life.
And thank you for that. Thank you for listening. Okay. So the history.
So a little bit about the history. So we actually started the podcast in 2007. And it could have been a little bit earlier than that. But as far as our records in our Libsyn.
And we don't have an official historian to do the job of this research for us. We don't have staff like that. So, the best we can do is, I think it was around 2007, 06. It was when podcasting first started. It was back when people didn't know what a podcast was.
Right.
And you had to kind of ask them first, do you know what a podcast is? And then make sure they knew. And then you tell them, oh,
we have one.
We have one. Yeah.
Yeah. And we did that pretty solidly, like 3 years.
I think
recording
so.
Every week. Yeah. And we loved it. So there are a history of archived podcasts from those days. And we called them different names back then.
Yeah.
So Girl Meets
Girl
was one of them.
Was what we called it at one time. Mm-hmm. And at another time, I think it was just called McKenna Music Podcast.
Mm-hmm. And we had that go out on Mondays. So McKenna Mondays, helping people have a nice start to their week. So you may find it under those names. But now we're just Sienna and Toast. We simplified. So we will have those podcasts. Aren't they already up there?
They're out there. Yeah, they're up there on the internets.
No, but is it on our website?
I can make sure that there's a link
click
to
on
them.
The podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if you're curious, but anywho, so that was what little bit of the history, right?
Right. And as we move into the next section of where the heck have we been, we'll give you an update on. Or it'll relate to a little bit of the history, right? Because like Cumin, remember?
Oh, Cumin. Well, you know what we can talk about with the history is
what?
Is that, having done the podcast so regularly, we really did cultivate a community of sorts.
Yes.
With the podcast that we put
listeners.
out. Yeah. I don't even know. Well, what?
No, you're just kind of
what?
Yeah. Toast's facial expressions are arresting. No, so it just kind of, the fact that you brought up the community just kind of takes me back, and I'm just like pretty amazed because it almost feels like another lifetime.
It does.
Where it's like, wow, yeah.
It does.
We met up, we would meet up with people face to face, right? Mm-hmm. IRL, in real life, and people from different states, people
different
from
countries,
other countries,
and it was really
podcast.
Yeah, it was really nice, and we did receive a lot of emails as well as good old fashioned letters from listeners, and they would write about a lot of different things, and we even received such nice presents in the mail.
Yeah, remember one time you got a bunch of eyeliner, was it?
It was eyebrow pencils.
Oh.
Which I still have to this day because podcast listeners are awesome. Our listeners are awesome from way back when. And I'll just tell the quick story of that.
Yeah, tell the story
Okay,
because
so-
it was kind of funny.
So our podcasts, if you're a brand new listener, the podcasts that we used to publish really were just conversational, what was going on. And what was going on for me at the time is that one of my eyebrow pencils were discontinued. And I happened to mention that on the podcast. And in the mail, seriously, I got from all over the place, people mailing me the color eyebrow pencil.
Isn't that so
was discontinued.
Sweet, like,
And it is so sweet.
Oh
And
my
because
God.
if any of you wear makeup, you will know that when you use eyebrow pencil, you just use it sparingly. And so even to this day, I am stocked up because of wonderful, generous listeners who care about my eyebrows. So thank you.
and they
Years later, thank you.
and they knew where to get it.
They knew where to get it. They were shopping on not Etsy, eBay.
Isn't that amazing?
I don't know where else. But so sweet. I think that's so sweet.
So
But
I have a question.
wait, I wanted to finish saying about
okay.
the presents.
Okay.
And do you remember we even got a strawberry cake in the mail?
Yeah.
And some people might think, well, you don't really know the people making this strawberry cake. But we ate
Are you really going to eat something that a stranger mailed to you? We ate
I mean,
that
she
thing.
wasn't a stranger, but we just hadn't been in her we don't really, these
right.
days you don't know people, right?
Yeah.
But we had cultivated some great communication with her. It was wonderful. She makes an awesome strawberry cake. It was great.
Yeah.
But one of the things what I was really trying to get at when I was talking about the communication with our listeners is that one of the common themes that they would write about is really talking about their coming out process. Some people, right?
Yeah.
Some people felt safe enough. They felt supported to actually come out, to finally come out, and we had people sharing their stories from, teenagers all the way up to like 60s and even beyond their 60s. So we love that. We absolutely love that.
Incredible.
But what were you going to say? You were going to ask something.
Well, when you brought up everybody, Sienna is taking a sip from her iced coffee.
I need a drink.
When we remembered the strawberry cake in the mail.
Oh my God. So
Thank you, Bonnie.
yes. Bonnie, whose birthday is on Halloween. See, the
Oh
things
my
you
gosh,
remember,
remember
right?
that.
She loves Winnie the Pooh. We really cultivated a great, just really getting to know listeners. And I think it's just such a wonderful thing to, another way you can connect with people.
It's definitely the bright and positive and edifying side of technology and social media, for sure.
Now I'm
Because
thinking her
recently-
birthday. Now I'm going, wait, was it on October 31st or was it October
I don't know.
25th?
We'll find out. Do you think she'll contact us? Do you think she'll
wait.
still get this episode?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bonnie, send us a
know.
message if you start listening to this.
But
No,
our
your-
address,
your
but our
brother-
address has changed,
Our
and we
address
will
has
tell you
changed,
about
yeah.
that. You can't mail
think
the
I'm-
strawberry cake to the same address,
No.
so but we'll get
But
to
we're
that.
not soliciting for a cake.
No, we're not. But
Okay.
we'll get to that.
Actually,
but what I was
okay.
gonna,
Yeah.
what I was going to say is that the edible thing about strawberry cake reminded me of the other episode where we tasted Vegemite for the first time.
Oh my gosh, yes. Because we were sent Vegemite. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
And it
Isn't that
was
funny?
actually
Isn't that
good.
funny?
Remember? It was actually good. We
thought-
just put too much of it.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Right.
We just
You're
put too much of it.
We didn't know you're supposed to just use it very like a thin layer. Anyway.
And
okay.
it did smell like and taste like one of our cat's medicine. It tasted like the smell of one of our cat's medicine, and when I compared the ingredients, it was very similar. But that doesn't say that it's not good. right?
It's good for
I mean,
cats.
people eat Vegemite
It's good for cats.
all the time.
Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that was funny. All right. Okay. So that's memory lane. That's our stroll down memory lane. So where have we been? Where have we been?
Well,
Oh, cumin.
yeah, let's talk about
should talk about cumin.
So
Okay.
in the past episodes, we used to have a regular segment that we called Cumin's Cat Corner. And she was our cat. And she's just the sweetest
She was our cat.
cat
She still is our cat in
ever.
spirit.
Yeah, she's the sweetest cat ever. And she was a brown tortie, right?
She's a tortie tabby.
Tortie tabby. For you cat people who would know what that really means.
And so she passed away in 2016. And she passed away over the age of 19. And she had squamous cell carcinoma. And we learned so much about that type of cat cancer. And, one day we will speak more to that, share some of the things that really worked in helping Cumin have, the last months of her life at the highest quality possible. We will share that because we really think that people should know about some of the things that we learned through that process. But it was very painful, and it still is to some degree, because she really was such a strong presence in my life. And I mean, I knew her before I knew Toast.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
Animals, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to how, like, so many times our pets, they see us through so many different chapters and eras of our life.
Can they hear that?
You may have heard
Sorry
a
for the
siren.
siren. All right.
Going by outside.
So anyway, so Cumin's Cat Corner. We have a literal corner in our house that has a nice altar for her memory. We won't be having a Cumin's Cat Corner segment of the podcast, but we will every now and then share some cat tips because we have a bear now.
Not an actual bear, but we have another cat now.
We have another cat now.
Is Bear.
His name is Bear. You can see him on our website, but you can check out his Instagram page at Bearwolf the Cat. Check out our Instagram at Sienna and Toast as well. But so we have a bear now. That's one thing that's happened.
And he's a cat that we fostered.
He's a cat that we fostered.
So
yes.
that's one of the things that we'd like to mention is, like, where the heck have we been? So one of the things we've done is foster a bunch of kittens.
We did. Oh my gosh. So we did foster kittens. We did it actually, I think 3 times. One little guy that was left by himself. One great group that was so well adjusted. They were, I think, 5 weeks when we got them. And then another group that were complete ferals, which was a whole other experience. But boy, was it rewarding. It was so rewarding. And in my life, I would like to do it again, even though I practically lost some years off my life.
Yeah.
I think stress of getting them adopted. Well, the last time it was too long.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I think it takes a certain, kind of personality and psychology to be a long-term foster, because you have to give these cats enough quality of care. You have to care enough and care for them in a way that requires a lot of presence and awareness, right? Because you want to socialize them so that they are very adoptable and they do find forever homes. At the same time,
you can't fall in love with them.
You have to remain detached to a degree,
I can't
because
do that.
right,
No.
the goal is goodbye, as they say, right? And that's walking that line. That's tough. And for some people, but for other people, I think it's less tough. Anyway, so yeah, that last time,
Because it
we
was
told?
9.5.
Well, because we were
weeks.
told that it's going to be, it's only going to be like 2 weeks. We just need help for a short amount of time. And we're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we can do that.
Well, no, I think it was
9
4
weeks?
weeks. I think they needed 4 weeks because we got them at 4 weeks.
Well, 9 weeks later.
And we needed to get them to adoptable age, which is 8 weeks. They can, start that process.
But it was because they had that outbreak at the shelter. That's why
they had an outbreak at the shelter. There were a lot of things happening. So we had them for 9.5 weeks, which I think I could commit to 4 and not fall in love.
Yeah, 4.
I mean, because I did okay with the first group.
Right. Yeah.
I did okay with the first group.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we did that.
So we got some more experience with that. I'm sure in the previous incarnation of this podcast, we would talk about a lot of the feral cats that were outside, right? So if you are a long-time listener, like I'm long-time, like, over
Concerts for Cats. We had something called Concerts for Cats.
Yeah, then you probably might recall us talking about outside cats.
Yeah.
So in the past 7 years, we expanded our experience to include
Inside
fostering inside kittens. Yeah,
inside cats. So that's
one thing.
Those are that children with fur, and we can move on to children.
Oh, we can
with
move on
skin.
to children without fur. Yeah, that's another thing.
Okay, and no, we did not have a kid. Sounds like we're saying we're going to have a kid.
Yeah,
because we did have a podcast talking
that's
about
true.
Maybe we're going to have kids. And do you remember how many people wrote in and said, don't have them? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that specifically.
We got so many emails of parents who said, do not have children. I think that's hilarious.
That is.
So anyways, we didn't have any kids, but we really got the best of both worlds because we do have 4 god kids.
That were not on the planet in the last episode. So we bring it for you.
Right.
In this episode, there are 4 new godchildren in our lives.
Right.
So, friends have had kids. We've gone to
friends have had kids.
What is that? What do you call that? Christening? That's a church thing.
Baptism?
Where they? Oh, maybe it was a baptism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christening. What is that? A Catholic thing?
Well, christening. I guess it's a christening.
I don't know. You can see how
because
unchurched we are here.
Well, that's from one set of parents, right?
Right.
So they they were raised Catholic, but they're kind of they do their own thing, sort of. Mm-hmm. The other ones didn't have anything.
That's right. That's right.
So, anyways, okay, and then we got married.
We got married, like legally for real.
Married.
The government says we're married, and we file taxes as we're married, like for real married, not just domestic partnership, which was the
what
most
you could
do.
Yeah,
prior to that. So society is moving forward.
Definitely in the right direction.
Yeah.
Do we have some of our
At
pictures
least in
on
that
our
regard?
Do we have our pictures anywhere?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't think
Our
we have
wedding
our pictures. Yeah, some for them to see what we did.
On
I
our
think we have
homepage?
some on our. Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. If you go. If you go to our website right now, anyways, it's on the homepage, but it'll probably change. But we have one of our photos up, so you can check that out if you're curious at all.
What a gay wedding! What a lesbian
how
wedding looks like.
lesbians get married.
I don't know. Maybe you haven't seen pictures of that, like a lesbian wedding.
But I guess the biggest or the most recent thing, and maybe what feels like the biggest change because it is the most recent thing, is the podcast is now coming from
the Pacific Northwest. So we moved from the Pacific Southwest to the Pacific Northwest.
To Portland.
Portland, Oregon.
That's where we are now. We are loving it. It's a whole different experience. And I don't know, should we talk about it or is that a whole other podcast? That might be another podcast.
I think that's another podcast.
That is. Yeah.
But can I just say, we made this move. When we told people we're intending to move, we're going to move, we decided to move, the first question is, oh, how come? Why? You know, for your job, or what is it for? And really,
I think they were shocked at what we said.
the answer is just because it feels right.
Yep.
It feels right. We had friends who moved up here about, 4 years ago now? Around there, right?
3 years ago.
3 to 4 years ago. And they told us, oh my gosh, you guys would love it here. You got to come visit. Well, we didn't visit them for about 3 years. Finally, we visited, and we did love it here. And we thought, okay, eventually, I mean, it took a few weeks, but it was a quick decision.
Well,
and we were like, dang it, we're moving. It's time. It's time for a change.
I want to let them in on the timeline because I think it's pretty crazy when you think about it.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just creating drama. Maybe I want some shock value response. Okay. I don't know. Should I not?
Yeah, it's all about your intention.
Am I too far from this?
It really is all about your intention.
Looks like you want to fix it.
Well, I just want to make sure they get the drama. So lean into that mic, girl.
Anyways, okay, so we went for just a quick weekend, late October. Flew in on a Friday, late Friday. Came back on a Sunday. Instantly, just the plane landing, just looking out the window, it's like, oh my God, look at this place.
It's a forest of Christmas trees.
And I love Christmas. So anyway, the whole experience walking through Portland, walking through the airport was just different. You could just feel it.
From LA.
You could just feel it. Nothing like the airport, nothing like LAX. And so that was late October.
One LAX in the world is enough.
We decided in November, let's just move. Signed a lease the week of Thanksgiving, and we drove up here the last week of January of this year. So January, February, March, April. So when is this going to come out?
May.
Okay. So anyways, we've been here 3 months.
Here we are. 3
months. So anyways, okay. So that, I don't know if you're shocked by that at all, but anyways, for me, you know what? For me, that's very shocking. Because I can't even plan, I need lots of...
You need a month's notice for dinner.
I need I need to prepare. Yeah, I need to know what's happening.
We did it, man.
And we just slammed it together.
Once we decided, it's it's happening. You got to do it.
But Toast is right. It just felt right. And for a lot of reasons, it probably didn't fit all of the, if you did a pros and cons list, if you just worked from a logical place, it probably wasn't logical to move up here. But when you from your heart,
when you feel something
the right thing to do for us.
Yeah.
So that,
and
are you going to do something there?
Well, I just want to share, because I've taken a few pictures of the front-facing windows of businesses that I see here in Portland, because one of the things about Portland that is just... Did you hear that, you guys? That was Sienna slurping her iced coffee again.
Oh my God, I didn't think it would do that. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, that's rude.
Okay. One of the things about Portland is that it is a very common sight to see signs hanging in retail businesses and restaurants that have this following type of message. I'm reading now from a sign that was hanging in the store window of a place. It says, "We welcome all races and ethnicities, all religions, all countries of origin, all gender identities, all sexual orientations, all abilities and disabilities, all spoken languages, all ages, everyone. We stand here with you. You are safe here."
I love that.
Is that beautiful?
That is.
What?
Are you able to put that image up?
Yes.
Or is it
I'll put it up wherever you want it up.
Something. Okay, let's use that image because I think it's powerful and people should see it.
Yeah, man. That's the people who resonate with that. that's who we want to connect with through this podcast.
Yes. And that kind of is a great segue into the why.
Yes,
Why we are even doing this podcast. So
After
one of the
7
reasons,
years.
one of the reasons is really with LGBT visibility. But I guess it's, I mean, we can keep adding letters, and I know it's important.
LGBTQ.
It's LGBTQ,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
LGBTQ.
Just everybody, man.
It's everybody.
Everybody.
Right?
Just like that sign, right? Like all the signs
like the sign.
in the window. It's like
Just like the sign.
everybody.
Yeah, because, just as we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast with the community that was created through just some of the listeners, I really do feel like we were a part of the support system for some of the listeners. And I think that's really important to, if we can do that, to be a support for the LGBTQ community, for people that resonate with the kinds of things that we talk about and share on the podcast. Why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah. And maybe it's being part of, the Portland mix and the Portland vibe, and seeing people be more like blatantly declaring that you all are welcome here.
It's
And
very
we feel
inspiring.
Like, and we feel like
yes.
we feel like, yeah, we feel that way, and we appreciate that, and we want to get on the podcast airwaves and give voice to that.
Hey, but when you saw that,
Yeah.
didn't it kind of feel like when you read it, it touched a part of you that remembered how you used to be, or how we used to be?
You mean before I came out to myself?
Because when we were doing the podcast, we were very much wanting to be that support,
Yes.
and then we stopped doing it,
right.
right?
Right.
And but being here and seeing the signs, it almost felt like a call to action. Like, hey, what are you going to do? Didn't it feel like that to you? Like a reminder of a part of you that you were not living up to, but just maybe not
Seeing
living up
those-
to. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. I feel like it speaks to that part of you that is just how do I say this? That feels like you're called to this nobility, this place of being. This is going to sound weird to some people, but the word righteousness comes to mind, right? Like doing what's right. Is that what you mean?
so.
I guess looking at me like, I don't know if that's what I mean.
No, I mean, I guess that's it.
Maybe different.
I guess
maybe
that's it.
different
To me, it
people
was
feel it
just-
in different ways.
Yeah,
right?
like when I saw the sign, I was like, it touched a part of me, my soul, I feel like. And I felt like, wow, we used to be a more active part of that. But what are we doing now? As we're standing there reading that sign, what are we doing today where we feel like we have a part in this, where we're serving, where we're helping? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And at the time that we first ever saw the sign, we weren't actively doing anything, in
Yes.
direct connection for our
Right.
LGBTQ
Right.
family.
Right.
So
Besides,
that's what I mean.
okay.
Aside from being lesbian, right? Because the
And
visibility is
being
important.
being monthly donors to the Human Rights Campaign.
Right. Okay.
But
Right.
but I
True,
know what
that's true.
what you mean about, like, it's one thing to be like, oh, just set it on auto pay and right,
Right.
versus like being actively involved. And it's so true that in today's current political and societal climate, cultural climate here in mid 2018, in the historic Trump administration, it's like, do something. So yeah.
So that. But the last but not least, really, we love doing it.
Yes.
We enjoy it. It's fun. And as long as there's listeners, we will be podcasting.
And I hope there's always listeners.
I know. I hope people are listening to this.
I know.
It's kind of, It's kind of hard. It's a little bit scary being back. It's like, okay, someone listening? Okay,
we're just going to throw it out there and just see.
You know what? Yes. Okay. So anyways, if you tuned in, thank you for listening. And until next time, this is Sienna.
And this is Toast telling you to love life, live free.